Anybody who's written copy knows this. There are plenty of mistakes to be made, and I have made plenty of them myself. There are some things to just avoid. Sometimes you just have to learn it the hard way, but coming on places like YouTube, sometimes we get a little tips and tricks of what to do, what not to do from actual social proof, right? So, all right, when we are copywriters looking for clients, what are we gonna do? Maybe it's somebody you know, right? Maybe you go on a job board, you go on Upwork, go on Fiverr. Okay, there's other ways of doing it. Cold outreach. Whew. Cold outreach can be a lot. Where Upwork's different, you can bid on jobs and you're kind of interacting constantly, and you do get some people hitting you back up, and you score some interviews and you might score some jobs. Sometimes it's low paying, sometimes it's high paying, and you kind of learn the do's and don'ts. And like I say, I like to fail forward. So not all my jobs are great, not all my jobs suck, but I've learned so much from it. Fiverr is set up a different way. You have to make a gig, which is basically like, hey, I offer this and a menu, and they basically choose it like add to cart type of shit. You basically very specific on what you offer, and then all the breakup points and add-ons and all that. Okay, so what you hear about a lot on YouTube is cold outreach to clients, how to get clients. Now, of course, a lot of these gurus don't tell you this. They approach it like, you don't need any experience at all. Just use these templates. They're tried and true. I got 3 right here. Come use my free course and blah, 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 blah. And then my whole free course is just me really selling you on my paid course and whatever. So they're not wrong, though. Cold outreach is a way to go. When they say you don't need experience, though, that bothers me, and it should bother you. Anybody that says you don't need experience, you don't even need to know how to write well. Okay, yeah, you don't. Yeah, you could just buy their templates, go online, and start cold outreaching to people, and just keep doing it over and over. That's another thing they don't say. You're doing this hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of times, guys, to get even 6 jobs back, right? Until you get better at it and have a system down, you're doing a lot of footwork that they don't like to tell you about. So what we have to understand is there's a ton of potential out there, yes, and these gurus are correct that there is so many companies, every company needs a copywriter in some fashion, that you can outreach to. So when you do, these are the mistakes that so many of us make. We like to put a lot of fluff in our emails. We can't help it. You just can't help it. You have a tendency to introduce yourself in a long-winded way. You want to tell them why you're right for the job and your skills, and you're trying to build yourself up. And maybe you're trying to, reach out to them a little personalized if you're doing it right. But you could end up putting way too much in. And you got to remember, these clients, you're cold outreaching to clients. This is different than Upwork. Upwork, they have put the job out there. They have put the job on there. You can make it a little bit longer in your proposal, which is no different than an outreach email. So you're cold outreaching to somebody who doesn't know you. And we are fluffing up our emails with our resumes, maybe portfolio links, which aren't bad ideas. It's just, in my opinion, and I did not come up with this, we need to first make a connection. And how do you do that? Well, we want it short and sweet and to the point, which I know this video really isn't. I'm sorry it took this long to get to this. Short and sweet to the point. I'm going to introduce myself. Hi, I'm Derek. I'm a freelance copywriter. I don't know if you work with freelance copywriters, but if you do, and you're not happy with the results you've had, reach out to me and maybe we can make something happen. I'm just paraphrasing of what I might write. It's a little bit different than that. And you may want to personalize it towards each person so they don't think you just copied and sent it out. So you have to find out what less is more, find out what's gonna work. You don't want to say anything you don't have to say, right? Say everything you have to say and nothing more. If you can take a word out and it still works, take the word out. If you can take a whole sentence out and what you're trying to say still works, take the sentence out. paragraph, take the paragraph. You get what I'm saying, okay? This applies from anywhere from writing comedy jokes, skits, scripts, to fucking even novels, right? But we're talking about copywriting. Same things apply. So don't fluff up your cold outreach cold outreach emails. But I meant to say also DMs. If you notice though, wait a minute, when I Instagram DM or Facebook group DM, I keep it short and sweet until I make contact. Once I make that original contact, then I can give them more, right? Show them more about myself because they're interested. Also brings me to a point about this cold outreach. Since you're going to keep it short and sweet, they obviously have to open up your email, which means your freaking subject line has got to be great and it can't land in spam. And unfortunately, you don't really know what's going to land in spam unless you test it, have a friend, family, have another email yourself, send it to yourself. I like to choose somebody else so it lands on somebody else's phone, because I always get this feeling like when it's landing on my phone, I'm not going to see it the same way. I don't know, maybe that's just me. So then you get to see how it lands, if it's landing in their spam or not. Don't be afraid not to send it to multiple people to test it, to see that it's going to do it multiple times. If you are getting it in the spam, you're going to have to do some work. Google changes their whole rules of regulations of what lands in spam and what doesn't. Obviously, stuff that sounds really salesy, emojis, stuff like that are going to land in there, or buy now, or save now. It can't. Just don't do that. Unfortunately, you know that's intriguing, but it's not going to work. So, okay, yep, your headline is your subject line, right? That's what's going to draw them in to this email. Your cold outreach email needs to be intriguing. They got to pique some curiosity and then get right to the point, because these people are busy. They don't have time for you telling your data dump of life stories and skills and how awesome you are and you can help them. They don't care. They really don't, unless they absolutely have a problem. Now, that does bring me to the fact that you can outreach to smaller companies that might not really have a lot of experience and might be willing to work with you while you say long-winded shit. But this is what's going to work the best for you, I think. And you can send a lot of these out fast because they're so short. And most of them will be your own template. They're going to be a template for you. Okay, that's one thing. Second thing, we have to know that we need to practice, get your reps in, is what they call it. Just like if you go to the gym, get your reps in. And just like the gym, if you don't do it properly, you're probably going to give up and get discouraged because you're not getting the results you want. Same with copy. Practice. Now, when I say you need experience to get a job, I don't mean you have to have jobs under your belt to get a job. That's a misconception. No, it means you have to learn the fundamentals. You have to practice. Look through your email list. Look at the emails. Practice rewriting them better. Start there. Also watch videos about how to learn fundamentals and then practice them. Write every day. Just rewrite one email a day. Start there. Now you bare bones know what I'm trying to say here. Okay, so don't try to go out, excuse me, to get a job until you know the fundamentals, right? Maybe that one should have been first. And then don't overstuff your emails with a bunch of crap. But there we go. 1, don't fluff your emails. Keep them short and sweet to the point. They don't got time for that shit. 2, make sure you know the fundamentals when you're going out looking for jobs. Because if you land these jobs, they're going to know you're full of shit in that first month. Even if they've never hired a copywriter, they will eventually figure you out in at least 3. Now, yeah, you got paid, but you want good testimonials and reviews for if you set up a landing page of your own. Okay, so no fluff. Put in your reps. What's number 3? You better learn how to interview. You got to know the lingo, so it goes back to fundamentals. Know your lingo, know the fundamentals. You got to be ready to work on your feet. And what I mean is, a lot of these clients these days that want to interview, you got to remember they've been in the business, and it might be their business, so they know it very well. You don't. You have to know the fundamentals of not just copy, but also interviewing. Learn to ask questions. Do not go into an interview until you've done your research on their website. Whatever they sent you, look it over, plus go deeper. Write a bunch of questions down. When you get to the interview, guess what? You're gonna be ready. Let them talk. They're gonna do a lot of talking, and then they're gonna get to a point. Most of the time, they're gonna ask you, so tell me about yourself. Why'd you get into copy? What projects have you worked on? Possibly could be a question. You better be ready to answer that stuff. You're gonna think, oh, I know, but do you? Are you ready? Because they're gonna be telling you so much details about who they are, what they are, and you're gonna be writing it all down, all excited about possibly getting a job. You're gonna forget who you even are sometimes, because you're not practiced in it till you've interviewed enough times. And let me tell you, I failed spectacularly in this regard. Brings me to the next point. They throw you the curveball. The curveball. Oh, they want you to rewrite something right there. You're on a Zoom call, they share their screen with you, and all of a sudden it's, whoa, what's this? Oh my goodness, they want me to look at their website, work on this headline real quick. Like, what angle would I come at from? I'm not ready for this. I'm not an improv copywriter. That's not a thing. And you're right, it's not. And it's not really fair, I guess, but what is fair, right? So they want to know you can work with others, work on your feet quick, work under pressure, but also communicate, guys, because this is the most important part. And this is where I screwed up until I learned. Take a step back, take a breath, and just say, listen, this is not how I operate, right? I'm obviously a copywriter. I write, I spend time with myself. Just give me a minute. Okay, and then those are when your questions come in handy. Ask them maybe some questions that might align with this copy. Say, well, why don't we go from it from this perspective? And this is where your fundamentals, when you know the lingo. If you want to come from an empathetic vision, or you want to come at it where you're doing some competitions, making it sound like they're competition, focused based on their benefits. How are you going to come at this headline and rewrite it? Right? There's so many different emotional ways you can come at this. And you kind of want to be talking it out loud with them and then thinking it out and maybe bouncing an idea off them. Get them involved in this conversation. It'll go a long way and it buys you time. And even if you don't do the best job by doing all that, we'll let them know that you know what you're doing, and that you're just not comfortable in this regard. Okay, that's 3. 4th thing, it's the final thing. And you need to know all these things before you go for jobs, or it's gonna be a problem. And this only has to do with getting your own clients, cold outreaching to get clients. Figure out your payment system and what your prices are gonna be. If you're gonna use PayPal, I wouldn't recommend Venmo, but I guess you could. Stripe's a good one. Whatever you're going to do, have it figured out ahead of time, and be willing to possibly use a different one. Be like, okay, a PayPal and Stripe. That should be the most common ones. They should be willing to use one. And yeah, have your payment structure and have an explanation of why it's set up that way and what you're promising and what you can deliver on, and have certain package deals all set up. That's it, guys. That is it. That's my long-winded way of saying those things. Have a great day.